Hello students, let's move on to the next question. The next question we do is question number 2, part 1. So let's read the question. The question says, draw a cumulative frequency curve OJI for each of the following distribution. Oh, so that's something new. It says cumulative frequency curve. We haven't done this till now. So this is a cumulative frequency curve, also known as an ogive, also known as less than ogive. There are two kinds of ogive. This is a less than ogive. Perfect. So let's see what the name means. Cumulative frequency, which means we need to first calculate the cumulative frequency. Next, curve. Curve means it is a freehand, which means I do not have to use a scale. Let me just write it. Do not use scale. So I do not have to use a scale to join all my points. I have to use it. It's a curve. So it means I need to use freehand. And then cumulative frequency. So let's just first calculate the cumulative frequency. Before that, let me check if this is a continuous data. Yes, 15 and 15, it is continuous. So let's move on. Cumulative frequency, you keep adding the frequencies. We've done this enough number of times. So 10 plus 15, that's 25. 25 plus 17, that's 35. 42, that's 54. That's 64. And that's 72. I always suggest that you add this up as well to check if you haven't made a mistake. That 8, 10, 17, 22 to carry. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 72. Perfect. My addition has been correct. Now let's look at what do we need to plot. So we need to plot the upper limit of each class interval. Upper limit of each class interval. If you remember your frequency polygon that we've done, in frequency polygon we plot the class mark. In cumulative frequency curve we plot the upper limit, right? So let's do. So what will I plot? I'll plot 15 with something, 20, 25, 30, 35 and 40. And the most important part about a cumulative frequency curve, that it starts from x-axis. It always starts from the x-axis. So which means you will have a point somewhere on the x-axis, which will be the first point. So what is this? This is a cumulative frequency curve, which means I'm plotting my class interval with not frequency, but cumulative frequency. So I will plot it with 10, in this case 25, in this case 42, next 54, this one is 64, and then the last one is 72. Let's check again. We are doing a cumulative frequency curve, also known as an ogive, also known as an less than ogive. First thing we do is create a cumulative frequency table. So for creating cumulative frequency, I keep adding. So 10, 10 plus 15, 25. I hope you remember this, right? So 25 plus 17, 42, and so on. Next, this last column is not mandatory from the exam perspective, but I always prefer to write it so that I don't end up making a mistake. Now, so let's start. So I need to go up to 72, which means I should ideally take intervals of 10. 1 second, let me just change the color. So this will be 10. Next is 20, this is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and 80, and this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. Perfect. Here I need to have intervals of 5, right? So I can either start with a kink or I can start with a 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, so let me not have a kink. Let me just start with 0 because I will have enough space to go up to 40. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 and 40. Perfect. So I didn't need to take a kink in this question. So I need to plot 15 with 10. So 15 with 10, that's my first number. Then is 20 to 25. So that's the middle number exactly between 20 and 30. 25 to 42, that's 2 units above 40. That's 42. Next is 30 with 54. So that's 4 units above 50. Next is 64, that's 4 units above 60. And then the last is 72, which is 2 units above 70, which is this one. So let me now, like I said, it's a curve, so let me just join it using freehand. Yes, different people will get slightly different curve, slightly different because this is using freehand. Now, like I said, it starts from the x-axis, but my curve is not starting from the x-axis. So what should I do? So the first number is the lower limit of the first class interval plotted with lower limit of the first class interval, and if it's starting from x-axis, well, it's obviously 0, right? So the y-axis will be 0. So this is 10 with 0. Perfect. Now it's starting from the x-axis. I repeat, what all have we done? We first calculated cumulative frequency, and then we figured out what numbers to plot. So the numbers to plot are the lower limit of the first class interval with 0, and then the upper limits of all other class intervals. In my mind, it makes a 7. Please note that this makes a 7. If you forget, remember the lucky number 7. This is what we need to plot. So the first number in the first class interval, this is the lower limit with 0, and then the upper limit of everything with the cumulative frequency. Let's see if everything else is done or there's something else we need to do. Right, I need to write what have I plotted. So I have plotted, let's see the question. Yes, it says class interval, so this is class interval. Here I have plotted cumulative frequency, so I do cumulative frequency, and then the last thing is the scale. Here on x-axis I have taken 2 centimeter is equal to 5 units, and on y-axis I have taken 2 centimeter is equal to 10 units. Let's check if I've got everything correct. Number 1 x-axis written, number 2 y-axis written, what have I plotted here written, what have I plotted here written, and my scale. Perfect. Thank you. I will see you soon with the next question.